Welcome to the Inspired Action Podcast. This is where we have motivational, inspiring conversations and interviews that we hope you'll enjoy listening to. If you're interested in creating more balance in your life, understanding your 5-element energetic nature, finding the path of greatest ease,
or releasing the baggage of this lifetime and discovering ancient alchemy that can help you fly in your life, join us and other inspired actioneers on this alchemical transformational journey.
Welcome back to the Inspired Action Podcast. My name is Jay. This is Pod 72. I'm here with Lita Herman, as always.
Welcome back, Inspired Actioneers. Today is part 2 of our Joy of Movement podcast. I hope you have listened already to the Joy of Movement part 1, which is Pod 71. If not, you can go back right now and
hit
pause and listen to Pod 71. Go ahead. We'll wait.
We packed so much into it. We had to break this into 2. So this is the second one, and we hope you enjoy it. The taxations. Can you explain the 5 taxations? And maybe that'll help people understand a little bit of the challenges and the different ways of the movement.
Yes. So it's all about balance. I remember we kept saying for each of these things, don't overdo it. And that's what we've discovered. A little of this, a little of that, and definitely a lot more fun than many of us are having. Variety is key. Moderation is key. No excess of any one thing.
I'm going to add bouncy house onto my list.
Yes, you need to definitely find
fun, right?
Yeah. How about those gyms that have those giant trampolines?
Ooh,
that's what you need to do.
I think we have to go find one.
Yeah.
We'll have to go when it's adults only. I don't want to bounce some kid through the roof or something.
Yeah, I could just imagine them
boing,
flying off.
Boing.
Yeah.
No, we don't. We want to keep it safe and fun.
Well, obviously, fun is a really good thing. It's a key component. And so we want to really do that.
But we don't want to do the excess. Boy, that's...
Yeah, so not to throw a blanket over everything,
right.
But we're going to talk about these taxations is what it's called in Chinese medicine.
Yeah, the 5 taxations. I know we've talked about it. That's why I thought it'd be a good way to tell people not to do too much bouncy, not to do too much dancing, not to do much the
Don't
squatting.
Pick on dancing. Yeah, squatting.
Hey, you can
running.
Overdance.
You can overdance.
Tango for too long.
Tango for too long.
Over tango taxation. I've heard of it. It's a thing. Google it.
Google it. Too much tango. Not a good thing. Okay. So if you're overdoing any of these things, then you might be taxing your body and causing certain things to weaken over time. So the 5 taxations are... No drum roll. Okay. It's too much lying.
Now you want a drum roll. Make up your mind. No drum roll. Want a drum roll.
Too much lying down is injurious to the lungs and overall to your energy and chi.
Oh my God. Of course it is. Don't be a lazy bleep.
Yes.
Lay around. It'll hurt your lungs.
Yes. And that makes so much sense because what's the number one thing to watch out for when someone is bedridden? It's pneumonia. So too much lying down will take your lungs down if you're not careful.
Get out of bed, get off the couch, walk around a little bit, get some movement.
Yes. So the next one is too much sitting. We mentioned this causes taxation of the spleen and your flesh in particular. So if you're...
You know what that's going, right? I'm waiting to put that joke in.
No, go for it, Jay.
Get off your bleep. Get out of that chair. Boy, I have a lot of bleeping today. I might set a new record. So look at saggy butt. Saggy tired, right? You said
saggy
it.
butt.
Okay.
Oh my God. So if you have saggy, tired looking flesh,
it's your spleen.
It's your spleen. So it's about overdoing the sitting at your desk all day and then going and meditating all night. That's not
Sitting
a great...
on that meditation cushion.
Yeah. Too much meditation is also not a good thing.
So there you go.
So now it seems impossible to do too much walking, but even too much walking can be too much. So if you had to walk all day, maybe for your job, maybe you work in the forest and you walk around, I don't know, be one of those forest managers.
You forest walkers.
Yeah.
Watch out. All 6 of you. Okay. Can we talk about anyone other than forest walkers? Oh my God. That's not even a job. You mean like a park ranger?
Yes, that's it.
Forest walker. Sounds like it's Star Wars.
Yes,
Luke,
that's
be a
it.
forest walker.
You Luke Forest Walker. Okay.
That's Skywalker.
Oh, okay.
Not forest walker.
All right. Well, that's walking too. So don't walk in the sky too much. All right. So if you're walking too much, she's still laughing. All right. I'll give her a moment.
Laughing too much is bad for you. It's good for you.
So if
Right,
you're
so other than park rangers.
if you're walking too much and then you do that for your exercise,
Yep. Go ahead.
then you might tax your liver, which would also hurt your sinews, which is what we call your muscles, tendons, and ligaments.
Okay, but what if you're a forest walker with a drinking problem?
Why does that
Your
have any-
liver is shot.
Oh, your liver. Yes,
Okay,
that's
so
it.
don't walk and drink. Slow down.
Don't walk.
Stop and smell the roses. It's just not, just don't walk through like the repetitive motions of doing it over and over and over, right? So that's a certain category of taxation. The overreaching, the overwalking, it's not healthy for the liver.
You know, and Jay, it's not even just walking too much or doing any one thing too much. It can also be about repetitive motions. And, you know, I want to talk about this in relation to the liver, because when you do the same thing over and over again in a certain way, it's also going to be taxing to the liver in particular. And so you might even find that someone who is doing a repetitive motion like that over and over and over again starts overreacting to life in general. And so that's just a sign that the liver is really upset. And therefore, the sinews, the muscles might be really upset. You might be hurting your body a lot in ways where it doesn't make sense. Like, gosh, I just picked up that bag and my arm hurts. Like, it shouldn't hurt.
Well, you
So-
have an angry liver.
Yeah, you might have an angry liver.
Wow.
And so the
Is that
other
a thing?
that is a thing.
See, angry liver.
Yeah. So you've overtaxed.
You've taxed it. Yep, you've taxed
Yeah.
it.
Okay. And the other taxation that's not so much to do with movement in general, but since we're talking about the 5 taxations, I thought I'd bring it up. And that is about your eyes. So if your eyes are doing too much staring, so all that screen time, you know, too much staring is bad for the heart.
That is fascinating. I do think we're heading into an epidemic of that too much staring. And so if it's bad for the heart, what does that mean?
It means that you might have trouble sleeping. That's a number 1 heart issue. It's a common symptom. And so it's why I'm such a big proponent of not bringing your phone to bed with you. It's just a terrible combination. You go to bed where where this issue can promote insomnia, and you bring the thing that's going to make it worse.
Yeah, that's so. If you love your phone, leave it outside.
Yes.
How about that, right?
Yes.
So it's a little bit of a breakup, a little bit of separation for the heart. So
Yes.
move your phone. I say it all the time to people. First thing I talk about is computer time, phone time. You have to wean that off. So, but the staring thing is fascinating to me.
Yes.
That's connected with the heart.
So remember, if your heart is struggling, maybe you have insomnia, guess what? Go out and dance, because we just said dancing, swaying, a little bit of bouncing.
Yeah, leave your phone at home.
Yeah, leave your phone at home and go move your body. Go have fun with your friends. You know, that will help heal your heart.
What about people who are working out too much, like, muscle weightlifters, like who are really like crazy exercising?
Yes. So we said weightlifting is good in general for the kidney and bones, but too much weightlifting, if you're really, really doing excessive amounts of weightlifting, that's going to tax the kidneys and the bones. So if you're really into powerlifting, that could be excessive.
Yeah. Muscle head, lift, change it up. Add variety.
Yes.
I'm joking. Do not come and kick my ass. Bleed.
Yes.
Okay. No. It's just, again, it's about that too much of a good thing isn't a good thing anymore.
Yes.
Right?
And
so
that's,
you have to kind of think about that.
That's really a rule of life, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. That is deep. Now I feel like I'm going to get my bleed by the muscle heads.
Yes. The
I'm
muscle
going to
heads.
cut that out.
They're
Take that
coming to
out.
get you.
Yeah, so variety is the spice of life. Who said that? Anybody know?
I don't know.
If you know, let me know. Okay, we need some more variety in general. That's a good thing. People need to be curious. People need to be adventurous. They need to find more things to do, more ways to move the chi.
Yes, seasonal activities, new hobbies, new challenges. They don't have to be huge. You could just find things that are enjoyable.
And I think this goes hand in hand with being a lifelong learner, learning new sports, learning new hobbies. I recently shift things up. I'm not just running all the time, even though I love running. Like we said earlier, ping pong, spin class, swimming, the stair monster, things that are always moving around. Moderation. Don't do anything too much, but you need to find what works for you that brings you joy.
Yeah, and I've recently even begun to do a little bit more cardio that's not running because I wanted to kind of mix it up. Again, I
Yeah.
didn't want to tax my liver. So, I love this T25 program that I've got, and it requires some jumping, which is good for my heart. So, some stretching, I'm trying to mix it up and really get that variety.
So I love T25 as well. I did it for many, many years. And, let's Sean T, let's show him a little bit of love. We'll put him in the show notes.
Yes.
I mean, if you haven't heard from Sean T, he's an amazing motivator in the world, and he gets people to move their bleep.
Bleep.
Okay, I'm trying to set a record now. Bleep. Move their bleep donkey.
He's so inspiring. So do you think everyone is getting it? Balance, variety. Let's make sure you're enjoying it. Then there's the idea of feeling how you feel after you exercise. So what we say in Chinese medicine is don't just do the exercise and just then go back to your life. Take a moment and think about how the exercise makes you feel in your body.
Yeah, how does it make you feel energetically? Do you feel happy? Do you feel joy? Do you feel strong? Do you feel good? I think we should keep going. We were going to stop here, but I think we should just keep going.
Yes, this is the idea of applied kinesiology. So, they've proven that once you become experienced in a movement, and, there is a learning curve, so maybe not right in the beginning.
Some are longer.
Yeah. So learning Tai Chi takes a while, for example. So let's say you're doing Tai Chi and you're just doing it and going back to work or whatever you're doing and you're not thinking about it. But let's just say you took a few minutes at the end of your Tai Chi to really think about how your body felt doing that movement. And you're getting some benefits of having done the movement even afterwards. And what you're starting to do is train your mind. So, if you actually do this, it's like you're visualizing it. So let's say that day you forgot to do Tai Chi, you don't have time, you're just rushing, but you take a few minutes now to visualize doing it. Maybe you're on a plane or in a car, you can't do Tai Chi there, but you have a little time. So you go through the exercise in your head. And guess what? You're getting the same benefits as if you've done it yourself. And they know this. They've proven this with top athletes. Reviewing things in your mind and visualizing it has really big benefits.
Yeah, something I've been doing for years on many different things. We always could, this is a bigger conversation that we won't be able to finish today, but we also could put it into the zone. We talked about the visitors, when we talked early in the podcast about being in the zone, athletes in the zone, the Wu Wei, that's also can be enhanced with visualization. If you think about the outcome in the process over and over and over, I think that's something everyone should definitely do. But don't lay on the couch and do visualization.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Lita said I could just think about it. No, that's not what she's saying. That's what I call lazy Tai Chi. Oh, another one. But it does have some benefits. When you start to think about Tai Chi, you should start to feel the Chi starting to move already. So
Yes.
that's the mental exercise.
Yes. So the body reacts to the mental thoughts.
Yes. It goes, it's kind of the mental training to your physical training. You're programming the body's tissue and muscles and sinews to react in a specific way.
And, I think a lot of Olympic athletes are being told to do this now. I mean, this is a really big deal. This isn't just Chinese medicine anymore. This has been proven and people are really embracing this. So I think everyday people need to start to think about this.
Totally.
So let's think about exercise in general and when it becomes important to include it in your life. Because technically speaking, when we're younger, we don't really need to move our body as much as when we're older.
Well, I like to tell people to move it or lose it.
Yes.
Okay. And that's it's a joke, but seriously, you have to stay in motion. And one of the things that I've talked with Lita about many times is the age cycles in Chinese medicine. And let's just drop that in, not to drop another huge bomb in here, but let's talk about the age cycles in Chinese medicine. And we're putting the pieces together of this puzzle to see how it fits and works for you.
Okay.
Just
all right.
a short
This is
bit,
great.
Lita, just a little bit.
I love this. I love this. So we call these the cycles of 7 and 8. So basically, women and men have a slightly different kind of growth pattern in life. Women go in 7-year cycles and men go in 8-year cycles. So it's a little different. Basically, women mature faster than men, which works great on the younger years. The women girls are way more mature than boys. We all know that. But in the later years, maybe men have a little bit of an edge up in terms of maybe not aging as quickly as women do. But basically, what Jay's talking about here is until you're about 28 years old for a woman or 32 for a man, so that's the 4th cycle, your body is in really good shape. And it's not until after that time that you start to experience a slight decline in your sinews, which again are your muscles, tendons, and ligaments. So what happens? They stop being so limber, shall we say, but even like with no exercise, a younger person, someone younger than 28 or 32, if you're a man, is going to have limber muscles, tendons, and ligaments, no matter what they do.
Right. So if you're at that younger age and you're listening to this podcast, that's great. You should start to get a really good sense of exercise and movement and joy and become accustomed to it. Basically building good habits right now, no matter what age. But if you're in that younger, under 32, under 28, this is the time to really grasp that mentality. Build good habits. It'll serve you well into the years that are coming, the other cycles. And then if you're not that, if you're slightly older, what can they do about that, Lita?
Well, first of all, I just want to go back to what you said. I wish when I was in my 20s, I was an intellectual. Let's just put it that way. I was a bookworm, right? So I sat on my bleep a lot. I really didn't exercise as much as I could have. So I created a lot of bad habits. Yeah. And those are the habits that have been so hard to break in my later years. So I really think Jay brought up a great point here, which is start now, even if you're in your 20s. We have a lot of people who listen to this podcast who are in their 20s and they really want to sort of get ahead in life before, there's a lot of listeners who are in their 40s and 50s who are like, how do I fix these problems that I created?
Challenges.
Right.
And
these
so
challenges.
It's about really knowing that you want more. You want to do things that are good for your mind, your body, your spirit, everything. You can click off all the good boxes here if you just figure out what you want to do, what you love to do, and you can change. It doesn't have to be, I want to become a runner or I want to do, ultra running or for the rest of my life. No, it's about finding things that bring you joy, that are movement. Work on your self-cultivation. The moving of the qigong, tai chi, those will come in combination with your meditation, your self-cultivation. It's like a big package we're building here.
Right. So let's get back to the cycles of 7 and 8. So the 5th cycle, which is 35 for women and 40 for men. So by that age, exercise, I have to say, becomes mandatory to keep your body vital. So that movement of your chi through those muscles and tendons and ligaments keeps them limber. If you don't, I guess it's that move it or lose it thing, Jay.
Lose it.
Yeah. So I'm not sure that the ancient philosophers said it like that, but this is what they meant.
Think you're sitting around philosophizing things, and they were like, move it or lose it.
And there is something in Chinese medicine that we call sinew changing exercises. It's about stretching and also cardiovascular, quick and rapid movements with tension.
That's called resistance training today.
Yes.
And now we have the HIIT workouts and, that's to some degree for sure. But, that's resistance training.
Yes. And so this is really important. So these kinds of workouts, and Jay knows a lot about different ones. So, maybe she has more to say on that, but these are really important when you get to that age group. And when you move on a little older, definitely by the age of 49 for women and 64 for men, those are the 6th and 7th, cycles, basically, we need to add some bone exercises. And so we call those bone or marrow washing exercises.
Yeah, there's nothing like getting in a good bone marrow washing workout. I love it.
Okay.
Let's go to the gym and wash the bones.
So it's really, it's similar to adding those weight-bearing exercises that we talked about earlier. So specifically, those exercises are about holding your breath and causing some oxidative stress on the body, getting some perspiration, some sweat going. It's like isometric holding in tension. And then those bone marrow washing exercises also strengthen the brain. So you are also working on a strong mind as you do these exercises, which we all need when we're getting older.
Sure, got to keep the bones clean, got to keep the mind clean.
So these bone washing exercises cannot be done without first strengthening the sinews.
I think that the easiest way for that is Qigong.
Yes.
Bone marrow washing Qigong.
Yes.
There's a lot of different ways out there to do that.
Yes. So remember, first, you need strong sinews. So this is why we're talking about getting this exercise routine already habitually in your life long before you need these bone marrow washing exercises.
Yeah, there's also the sinew stretching Qigong exercises as well.
Right.
That are for strength and different things. So it's great. It's true. Let's keep going on this.
Yeah. So the reason is if you don't do this, if you don't have strong sinews, you're going to get injured doing the bone washing exercises. So just the other day, I took a friend to the gym and, she's in her 60s and she's decided to do some weight machines and she injured her shoulder, not from the strain of the weight, but just getting into the position to lift the weight is what injured her sinews. So she just wasn't prepared for that level of work.
She forgot to wash her bones before she got to the gym.
Yes, that's it.
She could have done some warm-up Tai Chi, Qigong, bone washing. It's a thing. It's a thing. Google it.
So I guess the point here is...
Wait, is there bone washing stretches?
Yes.
Is that a thing?
Yes, that's it. Okay. So...
I guess that's just Qigong.
Okay, so no matter what age you are, the first thing you want to think about is how do you have exercises that are going to strengthen those sinews? And again, those are your muscles, your tendons, and your ligaments. You need to get strong.
There's so many things out there. We already talked about the whole list that we did, plus T25. Plus there's so many things out there that people can do. Moderation is the key. Dabble a little bit. See what you like before you go all in. Just take things slow and, like the person who went up to the machine and just got in the wrong position and before she even pulled it, she got injured.
Yes.
I mean, that's a tough one, but what was her mindset?
Well, here's
Why
the
was
thing.
she doing that?
She was doing the weight-bearing exercises before the sinew exercises. Right. So there's
there
great example.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so why are these sinew exercises so important? It's because...
Pliability, suppleness, stretching,
It increases your suppleness. We like this word pliability. So let's explain it to people, Jay, because it's a difficult concept. A lot of people think it's flexibility, but it's not just stretching and being limber. In fact, you can be over limber. It's not that either. So it's the ability of the muscles to stretch and contract as well as they did when you were young.
In one of those earlier cycles.
Yes. So if you take care all your life to use those muscles, they will continue to have their pliability your whole life. But if you overdo it, maybe make them too loose or make them very tight by overdoing some kind of exercise, then you're either too stretched out and too loose or you're too tight.
And that could cause injuries.
Yes.
That could cause you to not be joyful.
Right.
And, there are some techniques you can use for, I'm just going to use the word pliability. I didn't make it up. That's just something that's in the area. And there are some techniques that can help with this sort of flexibility, pliability, People have different words for it. I like pliability right now. Foam rollers, they're kind of like big right now. They're kind of making a comeback for helping people, increase this pliability, this suppleness of the muscles. But hey, Lena, what did the ancients do? I'm pretty sure they didn't have foam rollers back in ancient Chinese philosophy time.
What, did they have a big rock?
Maybe a gnarly log. They just kind of rolled on top of it.
It sounds painful.
Oh, well, it was painful, right? They love that.
Well, I think that they used gua sha cupping to do pliability.
Absolutely.
Yes. So if you don't know a lot about gua sha cupping, I think we've talked about it on this podcast, but that is another tool that you can have in your quiver of tools.
I know. I wish I knew about cupping and gua sha when I was an athlete.
Yeah.
Oh, my career would be completely different because the injuries took me down.
Yes.
Little injuries that led to bigger injuries because I wasn't pliable.
So remember, we want to keep that health of those sinews, those muscles, those tendons and ligaments, and they get kind of dried up or brittle or they get over flexed. Think of a rubber band. When you stretch a rubber band, you want it to just come quickly snap back into place.
Yeah.
And you don't want that rubber band to be dried out and brittle. So when you stretch it, it barely stretches. So it's a perfect example of what we're talking about. So
and anyone could do gua sha cupping. Heck, we even made an online class for it because Lita uses it so much in the clinic.
Yes. So we have an online class. It's at the website cuppingandguasha.com.
Hey, that was a nice segue there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I thought I'd put that in there. It'll be in the show notes. But here's the thing. What does gua sha cupping do? It gets more qi and blood flowing in those sinews.
So that way you can do more things that you love, more activities, more hobbies, more sports. You can do all the things that you want to do and love to do, and that'll bring you joy, hence the joy of movement.
Awesome. So I think that's a great place to end. I would love to hear what other people are doing or like to do for activities, exercises, hobbies, sports. DM us, email us.
Facebook is always good. Let us know what inspires you to get out and move your bleep. I had to get one more in there.
I'd love to know some inspiring things that you think we should try out. So we're totally game. We're always adding new things.
Anyone want to do the bouncy house, let me know.
Yes, the bouncy house. That was the one that came out today. Right. That's incredible. So
it's balance. It's moderation. Things that can work all areas of the body. Keep yourself balanced.
That's great. That makes me think there are 3 areas of the body, Jay, that keep you in balance. And it'd be great to add it today.
Let's keep going.
All right. So number 1, your neck. You need to keep your neck supple. So doing head rotations like the one we talked about.
Tibetan head roll.
The Tibetan head roll.
Love it.
It can be very helpful overall, especially as you grow older. So if you're in that 5th, 6th, 7th cycle of your 7 and 8 cycles, then you really need to think about head rotations.
Yes, we talked about the Tibetan head roll. We'll put that in the show notes. But that is really good for wood people. That one exercise literally changed so much for me because people who move at a fast pace, if you do the Tibetan head roll, you learn how to move at a glacial pace.
Yes.
And that's life-changing for some people. And it's one of my favorite things to do. And you got to learn it. So if you're thinking you move too fast in the world, guess what? It checks off the neck thing too.
Yes. Boom. So that's really important. So you need to have that mobility of the neck. Think about how as you get older, people get stiff and the neck especially, when they're driving, they can't turn their neck to look backwards. That's just not acceptable. You need to keep attending to the neck, rotating the neck.
Fantastic. What's next?
Okay. The next one that you really need to attend to is your calf muscles, making sure that they're strong. So you need small amounts of jumping or running to keep them fit.
Maybe walking, if you can only walk. Right?
Yes, but I do think the calf muscles in general really get strong with a little bit of jumping or running. So,
spinning, my calves
yes,
rocking
spinning.
It now.
Some people just jump on a trampoline a little bit.
It's great.
Okay. And finally, all the ligaments and tendons in your hips and shoulders, those are really important. So you have to be able to throw something or do a very quick exercise. Like playing tennis has a lot of sudden movements. These are called your speed muscles, and they also need to be kept in play your whole life for optimal health.
So those are really 3 great tips at the end there. So that's fantastic. You might have to go back to listen to this podcast. I think I'm going to go back and listen to it and take some notes because that was really good for me because I'm a very active person and I want to continue that level of activity in my life. So these things are very important, and defining that joy is really what this is about. And so self-cultivation, move your chi, find a way to have other movements in your life that work on the muscles, the sinews, the bone washing, the sinew strengthening, all the things that we talked about.
You know, one of the things I think about, Jay, is like when I'm older and I have grandchildren or whatever, you know, if that grandchild is like running around playing, I want to feel strong enough to join that kid. Like just because I'm older, I still want to feel young in my body. And these are the secrets of Chinese medicine of how to do that.
So ancient philosophy here, just move it or lose it.
Yes.
So just do it. Oh, wait, I don't know if we could say that. That's a Nike slogan there. Can we say just do it?
I think we can. We're going to say it anyway.
That's right. It's copyrighted. No, we cannot say it is copyrighted. We're going to say it anyways because you know what? I'm going to throw in one more bleep. Just get out there and do it. Just do it. What the bleep? Who cares? Move your body, move your chi, smile, open your heart, and move your mind.
All right.
Bye. Bye. You've been listening to the Inspired Action Podcast, and you've reached the end. Woohoo! Woohoo. Why not celebrate a little bit and click that subscribe button right there? We love having you with us on this journey, and we want it to continue.
You can also rate and review this podcast. And if you have already, thank you so much. We read all reviews, and your reviews help other people find this podcast as well. You can also be a part of this podcast yourself by submitting a voice recording message and emailing it to us at Lita@inspiredactionpodcast.com or Jay@inspiredactionpodcast.com.
And if you want, you can join our Facebook group or follow us on Instagram.
Join us next week for another Inspired Action conversation. And thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening, and remember to hug the dog.